I've just seen this TikTok which basically says that Chris Maguire was a better player than Jack Clark. That's honestly fucking ruined my afternoon, because what the fuck? Surely nobody thinks that as a serious opinion. There's just no fucking way. Dear me. Anyway guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a different video. Now, since it is the international break this weekend, I thought I would go with some pretty unpopular opinions about Sunderland and, you know, just to stir the pot a bit, because why not? You know, after the disappointing defeat at against Borough last week, you know, this is the opportunity when people usually start to voice their opinions about the club, which may be seen as pretty controversial. Obviously, they keep these quiet when they're winning because obviously they get fucking shouted at. So I thought, you know what, I'll join in on this and give some of my unpopular Sunderland opinions. Now, I just want to put this out there that obviously you probably won't agree with some of these. That's fine, these are just my opinion. If you have any of your own opinions, feel free to let them know down below in the comments. And if this video does well, then who knows, we may end up talking about those in a future video, because I think I would like to do this again once I do have some more unpopular opinions. But without further ado, let's get right into this.
Give me fucking chips! Bang!
So, in my opinion, Tony Mowbray has mismanaged some players. Now, Mowbray, for me, he's been brilliant since he's come in. I've really enjoyed having him at the club. I'm going to be really disappointed when he does eventually leave. But my biggest criticism of him is probably the way he has mismanaged some players. Probably the two big examples being Jason Bennett and Louis Hemia. Now, sort of with Bennett, you know, he hasn't really been given an opportunity yet in the first team. He's usually on at the bench, but to be fair, he's rarely brought on as a sub. He has played in some cup games here and there, but he usually played out of position and is therefore unable to really make an impact. Now, Mowbray did say last season that he hasn't really wanted to play Bennett because obviously due to his lack of experience in the country as a whole and the fact he was still learning English, which I think is a bit of a weird one now, since we've since splashed out abroad since then for some other players like Bennett who are his age, you know, likes of Hemea, we'll talk about soon, Mayenda, players like that, you know, so it's definitely a bit of a weird one, that. And honestly, it has not been given a chance, and you've already got people writing them off already. Actually, I mean, to be fair, our fans, by the way, are way too fast to write players off, way too quick. And unfortunately, Bennett has been one of those players, and you know, when he has been brought on and he has played in his position, he usually made an impact. I mean, literally, our fifth goal against Southampton, you know, Chris Riggs' goal, Bennett literally fucking rouletted past 3 players and then put in the ball in the box, and then Craig headed it in. Now, I know Bennett's not going to do that every game, but you know, it is obvious, you know, when you do give him a good few minutes in his position, he will do something with the ball, you know. Like playing him as a striker against Crewe in the cup was just not it at all. It really wasn't. And also, like with Louis Hemia as well, you know, he obviously before deadline day he was our only fit striker. Obviously, Mayenda came in early on, he got injured, and then Hemia was our only striker really, and he started the majority of games in pre-season, scored a handful of goals, you know, definitely looked like a very aerial presence, especially against the likes of Shields and San Antonio, where he did score some headed goals. Again, not high caliber opposition, but you know, you still got to do those things, haven't you? He started against Ipswich on the opening day, but just was not getting the service needed from Clark, Roberts, maybe even Job at times as well, and therefore he was limited to various opportunities in front of goal, and he was subbed off in that game, I believe, and yeah, was then later dropped by Mowbray and hasn't featured since. That's a lie. He hasn't started a game since. He has come off on the bench a few times. But unfortunately, like Bennett, he's only usually limited to like 10-15 minute cameos, and again, he just does not get the service, in my opinion. Now again, like Bennett, people have again pretty much written him off already. You know, he's mostly featured for the under-21s, where he's got most of his minutes from the season, and you can just tell from there his confidence is just gone. You know, his body language isn't great. You know, he's just clearly frustrated that he's not getting enough opportunities in the first team, which I completely agree with. And has been forced to play with the kids, and You know, you could say that he's not helping himself with his body language. But in my opinion, I think Mowbray was really, really harsh to drop him after just one game. And to just not bring him back since is just a bit strange, especially during the window when Mowbray was complaining about not having enough strikers. Yet he was persistent of playing Bradley Dack as a false 9. He was just, come on. I know with Miss Burstow failing to score in his first 5 games and really do anything notable at all, you could say. You know, he must be wondering what else he can do to start. I think a lot of people are thinking that as well.
Give me fucking chips! Bang!
So this opinion might not be as unpopular as the other ones, but for me, Alex Neil leaving us at Stoke was the best thing that happened to this club in a very, very long time. Now, of course, obviously at the time when he was leaving, it was very controversial, and some neutral fans still look back and think, fucking hell, why did he leave? Which is baffling, you know. And obviously at the time, people slated Speakman a lot for how the whole situation unfolded. Obviously, once Alex Neil came out and said he wasn't given enough money, and didn't really have a great relationship with Speakman. Obviously, Speakman got a lot of shit for that, and also then bringing in Tony Mowbray as his replacement at the time seemed like a very underwhelming and pretty safe appointment, if you ask me. However, since then, Mowbray, you know, he's come in, he's introduced this free-flowing, brilliant attacking football that we do see every week. You know, we've scored some brilliant team goals in the process. You know, he clearly likes working with the youth players, you know, working with young players. He clearly trusts most of them anyway. And they obviously ultimately guided us into the playoffs in our first season back in the Championship, being the first team to do that within 8 years or so. And after the first 11 games, we are currently sat in 4th, so he's clearly doing something right. And then on the other hand, Alex Neil's had a pretty rough time at Stoke. Obviously, other than beating us 5-1 last season, Stoke have been very, very poor. Obviously, finished 16th last season. And despite having a pretty promising transfer window, they currently sat in 21st after 11 games so far this season. And honestly, I don't think Alex Neil would have done what Mowbray did last season had he stayed. Obviously, Alex Neil football is a little more defensively minded. Obviously, our defence was very organised on Alex Neil, which I'll give him huge credit for. And he was definitely, you know, Alex Neil teams usually will, like with us and if Preston at times, well, you know, there were tough teams that were tough to break down. And that clearly just isn't working at Stoke. And then I think for us, obviously having such a young, free-flowing team, having that sort of tactics just was never going to work. And to be fair, we never would have. I don't even think we would have been in the competition for playoffs last season. I think we probably would have ended up finishing somewhere like 14th or 15th last season if I had Alex Neil in charge. So, yep, him leaving in the end proved to be a pretty good decision for the club.
Give me fucking chips! Bang!
Now, my final opinion, and probably the most controversial one in this video, that for me is Patrick Roberts is very overrated by our fans. Now, I don't like criticising players, especially singling them out, but for me, Roberts, and I've noticed this at times last season, definitely so far this season, that he's a skillful player, and you can tell that when he does have the ball in his first touch. In particular against Sheffield Wednesday, it was brilliant. You can tell he's a flairful player. But other than that, he offers very little in games. And since joining back in January 2022, Roberts has got 15 goals and assists in 70 games in all competitions, which is just pretty poor, in my opinion, for a winger. Which, I mean, obviously don't get wrong, like obviously wingers aren't expected to score like loads of goals per season, but the fact he's only managed 15 goals and assists in 70 games is atrocious, and to be fair, he's yet to actually have a single goal contribution so far this season. You know, his overall lack of end product has seriously gone under the radar, I feel. Obviously, again, due to his skillful nature. And obviously, in games, I've brought this up in the past before, but he fails to do the basics sometimes. You know, instead of looking at his surroundings and trying to find a good pass, he tries to take on like 3 or 4 players at a time. And obviously, then 9 times out of 10, he does end up losing the ball, and it's just chances gone. And you just think, you know, whether he had put that pass, you know, to Hume, making an overlap and run, or Dan Neil, or Job coming go closer towards him, trying to find that easy pass. He tries to do it all on his own, and it just never works. And in my opinion, he was carried a lot by Ahmad last season. You know, you could tell Ahmad, you know, obviously he had a brilliant campaign. last season, and obviously him and Roberts were usually utilising as a pair on the right hand side, and for me, due to the fact that Ahmad usually did take most of the credit for stuff last season, Roberts was definitely he was definitely overlooked. I think overlooked or underlooked. I don't know, but yeah, people definitely seem to not notice the fact that Roberts was doing very little, which you know, it's like, again, it's not the end of the world, I suppose, but for me, I think the fact that Roberts has been much, I don't want to say he's immune from criticism, but he's a player who's very rarely criticised, I feel, and there are definitely other players who get criticised more than Roberts does, which obviously I don't like criticising players, but you know, when I feel like it's appropriate, I do. But for me, Roberts, I like him as a lot of player, but sometimes I feel like he is maybe wasting a spot in that team. And honestly, in pre-season, I was honestly gunning for Isaac Lahaji to start over Roberts. Obviously, then it's told largely off to the Qatar, so obviously that means out now. But and I don't want to be that massive dickhead, but I really wasn't that upset when Roberts was looking to be going to Southampton in the summer. So I don't know, Roberts. I want him to do well. Of course, I want him to do well, but for me, he just needs to stop thinking that he's the centre of attention. That's, you know, just be a team player, ultimately, which I think is what's let him down so far. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you want my unpopular opinions about Sunderland, again, if you have any of your own, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. And if you guys like this video and want more, do let me know, and I'll definitely make another one in the future. That's it for now. Next week, speaking of Alex Neil, it is Stoke away next week. It's going to be not a big game, but you know, I think obviously both of us are needing a win after recent events, so should be a crack at that one. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.